What's going on? We back. It's the Boxing Clinic of Morris, your boy CJ, good fella. We vamping tonight, man. We're vamping. And you know, we gonna be on for a minute, So we're gonna get a nice little live show going, extended show. Uh and we about to get it in real quick, man. And shout out to everybody that's about to come in the chat. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat right now. About to talk some Lomachenko, and then we're gonna talk some other different stuff, and then wherever the Q&A go to, whatever the boxing conversation go to. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let me know y'all there. Say something. What's good, Quan Mug? I ain't gonna talk that weak ass NBA shit, man. Shout out to the Cavs though. Or on a one-way ticket to go get swept by whoever in the fucking finals. So I'm not gonna talk about no basketball. Let's talk about Lomachenko, man. Everybody rolling in here, man. Reason I'm probably gonna be going on for quite some time. Let me know if y'all can hear me all right in the chat. I'm waiting on my other headphones to charge up real quick. Talk about some gonna talk about just boxing for a long time. I got start my midnight shift tomorrow morning to midnight, so I gotta get on track. So gonna be up. We're gonna try to drag this shit out a few hours, man. But talk about Lomachenko, man. I was watching Dante Boxing Nation radio show a minute ago, and he was talking about how a lot of other great fighters jumped up 2 weight classes. May have been Rigondeaux jumping up 2 weight classes, an example for Lomachenko. May have been Roberto Duran jumping up 2 weight classes and whooping on Sugar Ray Leonard. Shane Mosley jumping up Oscar De La Hoya, whooping on him for 2 weight classes, and basically. They were saying on the show, should Lomachenko jump up for 2 weight classes? Now, let me say that, man. I'm not biased at all, man. I try to be, really not biased. But everybody don't have that physical build to jump up a weight at any given time. Just because you see other people jump up, you see Pacquiao jump up, you see Shane and Roberto jump up, it don't mean that Lomachenko has that body type. You know what I'm saying? And that's real shit, man. So I would never try to you should move up because Rigondeaux moved up. Rigondeaux made a dumbass choice in his own to move up and do that for short money. He did all that moving up for $500K, I believe. That wasn't enough money for somebody to jump up 2 weight classes. And he could have just waited, even though he couldn't foreseen this, but he could have waited and obviously he could have got into that World Boxing Super Series 118-pound tournament. But he didn't do that. He was very, very impatient on his career developing, developing out, which, Quigg, Frampton, Santa Cruz, and all froze him out. That's a whole different story. But yeah, I would never come on here and say, oh, Lomachenko should move and jump up and wait and do this. I mean, I think he's already moved up, 3 weight classes already. He's never unified yet. That's not because of him. That's more his promoter not willing to work with other top promoters. But should he move up to the World Boxing Super Series tournament? I've been contemplating on doing this video. I never really got around to doing the video about him doing that. And should he move up and wait and fight some of those guys? Not some dangerous guys there as far as size and speed and athletic ability. You got Regis Prograis. He's a savage. Josh Taylor potentially could be entering. He's another savage. So I mean. You look at his situation at 35. I understand that he probably could wait out for Mikey Garcia, but at the end of the day, there's no guarantee that Mikey Garcia is going to bow down to Bob Arum and make a deal with old Bob. It ain't gonna happen. Timmy Diamonds, he said Rigondeaux was too old to move up. I don't think Loma, I'll get to questions. I'll finish in a minute, y'all. I don't think Loma, shout out to Mr. DX Factor, I don't think Loma would be successful at 140. He didn't look that great at 135, in my opinion. Linares was way bigger than him. That's a great point there. That's what it's getting to. I don't think, he's ready to, and he's in his 30s already. I don't think he can move up too high, much higher. But my point about him moving up to the World Boxing Super Series tournament is, one, that can solidify his greatness and have some trouble in the field, but it's a lot of beatable guys there, or at least I see them as beatable guys. I haven't really watched a lot of them, but I started watching tape on some of them. And it would be dangerous because a lot of those guys are bigger, but skills pay the bills, right? But not only just that, it's the simple fact that at 35, he ain't gonna have no competition, man. You know, if Mikey Garcia beats Robert Richard Jr. And gets the fuck up out of there like he planned to in the beginning, said I only wanted to come back down for one fight and then move up. Excuse me. If he does that, who is he gonna fight to be, you know, to end up gaining ground on the pound for pound list? Even if you haven't won, who's he gonna fight to sustain being number one on the pound for pound list or get to the number one spot and move up? After Mikey Garcia leaves the division and beat Robert Richard Jr., you know, hypothetically, I mean, who else is it there for him to do work with? You know, is Tank gonna move up anytime soon? Possibly not. You know, I mean, if you worry about Tevin Farmer, Billy Dibb moving up, Miguel Burchett moving up, no. I mean, you can have Leo Santa Cruz move up one weight class, but Lomachenko just relinquished his belt at 130 pounds. So Leo Santa Cruz becoming to 130. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, he really don't have a lot of, competition to really catapult him into stardom. You know, beating Ray Beltran is going to be flashy because it's the first time that they unified. But amongst hardcore boxing fans, you know what I'm saying, and the purest boxing fans, a lot of guys, you know, they're not going to move him up for beating Ray Beltran, you know. So it's difficult. He's in a tough pickle, man. A lot of people don't kind of look ahead at the competition level, man. I always kind of look ahead and try to at least peek over the fence a little bit and see what he got. And really, real talk, he really don't have nothing, man, to be honest. He don't have nothing to really keep him on top but Mikey Garcia. And beating Mikey Garcia – I think a lot of people would agree that can get him the top spot, you know, especially if Terrence Crawford don't get the fights that we think Terrence Crawford gonna get, and we gonna continue to kind of segue to different stuff, and I'm gonna continue to kind of keep up with the chat as well. But I mean, what can Lomachenko seriously do without Mikey Garcia to stay, you know, to sustain his pound for pound spot, to be pound for pound number one? You know, what can he legitimately do? You know, outside of Mikey Garcia. Now, if Robert Richard Jr. beats Mikey Garcia, which Dante believes he get an edge to Robert Richard Jr. I mean, that's his opinion right there. But then does Robert Richard Jr. want to go over there and fight Lomachenko? You know, we don't know. That's why I said, you know, you think about the guy Lomachenko moving up to the 140-pound tournament, because I mean, he truly want to be great, and it's an international stage, and they might can get him a fight closer to home too. That's what I'm thinking about. And, you know, you got Relic. He's a good fighter. He's a good physical fighter. He beat Ramses Bartholomew. He's in it. Ryan Martin's a guy who's the similar size of Robert Richard Jr. He used to be signed by 50 Cent. I'm not sure where that stands. He's a 5'11", former lightweight, moved to junior welterweight. He's a black guy from Tennessee. He's, you know, Abel Sanchez has worked this corner in the past. You know, he's a big guy. Obviously, Josh Taylor, entered. He's a physical switch hitter. I call him the white Terrence Crawford because he switch hits like Terrence Crawford. I mean, Regis Progress is a big puncher, but guess what? You know, he hasn't had the experience, man. You know, the experience of fighting top opposition. Not saying that, you know, he won't be top opposition, just that experience level not there for him right now. So, I mean, it's a winnable tournament for Lomachenko, but he looked a lot soft at 35, and I think it would be a hell of a mistake to move up one weight class and enter the tournament without getting one more fight in. His August 25th date got canceled, got pushed back. So, I mean, for him, like I said, man, for a guy that's striving for greatness, I understand where Dante is coming from about him moving up. But right now, I mean, if he stayed at 35, I think it was a mistake moving from 30 to 35. The Linares fight wasn't big enough for you to move up a weight class to go Charles Linares, and it didn't do enough in a lot of people's eyes for him to move up. I mean, I think he was better served, fighting Burchett, then, Albert Machado, somebody like that. And then maybe a Billy Dibbs and try to entice Tank to come out and fight him. You know what I'm saying? So I think he was better at 130. And potentially you got Gary Russell that's moving back up to 130. I know you already whooped on him, but why not whoop on him again? Especially he thinks he's improved. He had an excuse about his scale being off and his weight being off because his trainer had a bad scale. You'll have potentially Leo Santa Cruz moving up. That could be a good money fight for you. Obviously, Adam Mars is talking about moving up. Carl Frampton talking about moving up. Lee Selby talking about moving up. You'll have an infusion of talent moving up. And I understand some of those fighters are on the other side. But Bob Merriam, he showed the ability to make fights when he feels his fighters are superior to other promotional fighter, promotional company fighters. Like Gary Russell, he sent him over to Showtime to fight Vasily Lomachenko. I'm gonna get to the chat. Sub actual facts. Angel Santos, Loma is dog food at 140. World Boxing Series will be good. Him at 130. Yeah, but he left 130. So I mean it's over with. He should have stayed at 130. You're not thinking about it. Loma don't have the power to move up higher than 35. Tuka, that's a Quan Mugga. Tuka Pat, that's the World Boxing Super Series tourney. It's a tournament that they the World Boxing Super Series tournament is a tournament that it has seasons and shit. You know, every season they have a tournament and it rotates weight classes. Originally they were supposed to do junior middleweight last year, but none of the guys will participate at junior middleweight. That's before Herb became champion, I believe. But none of the guys will participate. And the WBC tried to do an unofficial tournament at 154. None of the guys will participate. And then it ended up going to cruiserweight and like in a super middleweight. So after the World Boxing Super Series is done, it's just a 6-man tournament, I believe, right? Or 8-man tournament, whatever the fuck it is. They all fight, and they got a Muhammad Ali trophy. It usually goes 2 weight classes at a time, and it's big prize money. I think this year prize money was like, it was like 20, 30 million in total. I think 15 million went to the cruiserweight and 15 million went to super middleweight. I'm still not clear about how that payout went, but it's a lot of money involved in it. It's mostly international because US TV don't want to give them dates, and that's because they didn't have a lot of US stars in it. And it's looking like that again, but you can find a stream where they usually stream it on the World Boxing Super Series tournament. It's a good thing, man. Especially the 118-pound tournament. We got Anuyiwa, Tite, Ryan Burnett, Manuel Rodriguez already in there, so it's shaping up. It's a good thing. It just don't get 50 million. Okay, 50 million. I don't know what it was. I know it's split up between 2 weight classes, so 50 million. My bad. I know it's something like it was high. I know it's high. I see Lomachenko moving up to 140 for Pacquiao. He said he only could do 137 right now, so maybe you're right eventually. Lomachenko is an exemplary boxer. He can't sustain a welterweight banger that comes in at 165. Yeah, of course, he's too small. He's like 30-something years old, man, or 30 years old. Of course, he's still weighing one. He still can make 130. Tank gonna KO Lomachenko. Tank too powerful. You've been waiting to say that all. Roman Jesus been waiting to say that shit all day. We was on the NBA stream earlier. He was talking about that shit. Tank gonna expose Lomachenko. Yeah, it could happen. Yeah, I think Tank can too. Tank a grown man. He's strong. He built like a fucking he built like a powerful little welterweight, but he's small, like a little compact dude. Most people would push Tank versus Loma more, but probably won't happen anytime soon. One of the things I hate about boxing, the whole let build process. Yeah, I mean they're gonna let that shit build, man. Tank and Lomachenko, it's just gonna build up. He's too young right now. In most people's opinion, Lomachenko, Tank ain't really stepped up high enough, man. But his step up would be, McGill Burchett. That's a fight that they should be looking to make. Getting that green belt around his waist. Even if he fought Tevin Farmer, I looked at Tevin Farmer not as a step up as well. I didn't look at that as a step up, like Burchett will be. Burchett would be a good fight. Burchett has been in some great wars. He's a solid Mexican fighter, and he come to fight. He's not in a boring fight. Neither is Tank. But he did beat Pedraza. Pedraza beat Edgar Cherry for the belt, and Pedraza was a good guy. He was top rank right now, but yeah, they asking Lomachenko a lot. You can't compare some of these guys to the old fighters, man. As far as their body type. Roberto Duran was a dude that was sweating down to get to 35. Lomachenko's a guy that's 30. That's probably walk around 135, 140. So I wouldn't come in here and say that he should move up because of this guy. I mean, he already moved up 3 times at 26. I think he made a mistake moving to 35 at the time. And talk about lightweight historically, of late, it's been a terrible division, man. I know somebody kind of went back in their brain, it wasn't me, and said it ain't been hot since Castillo and Corrales was there. That's a very long time, man. And rest in peace, Diego Corrales. That division hasn't had any traction. I remember Brandon Rios was among one of the top fighters at that division with Ricardo Abreu, who boxed the fuck out of his ears off. Anthony Peterson was a player to the low blow Brandon Rios to death. Miguel Vasquez, a guy that had 2 competitive fights with Canelo Alvarez way back when. Lost the title to Mickey Bates. Some people thought that was questionable. It's another title. Floyd got another fighter that shouldn't have been a titleist. you know, that's kind of when that division was semi hot, but it ain't been hot. You know, even when Crawford was there, I mean, it been a hot division. And like I said, Lomachenko jumped up at the chance to beat Linares, which is hiring back his old coach back. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. He got a return date idea. So, I just look at it like man, it was a bad move to move him up, man. You know, it was a bad move to move Lomachenko up. It was more money and more opportunity at 130. But maybe they thinking of making him, let's think, put our Bob Arum caps on real quick. Maybe they think about making him undisputed at 35. Because once Mikey leaves, he might vacate that WBC and IBF if he gets past Robert Jr. And maybe, you know, they can send Lomachenko, you know, or one of the top ranked goons to go get one of those belts and make a unification bout. And try to get all the belts at 35 and say he's undisputed, and then really try to shove him past, you know, Terrence Bud Crawford. But I know, you know, they said he had Dante said he had an opportunity to fight Crawford. He did. You know, when he was at 26-30, you know, Crawford was willing. When Crawford was at 40, he was willing to say, you know, he'll fight him at 37. And English, whatever that is, the manager, Lomachenko's manager, was like, no. And at the end of the day, you got to realize that they got to have that man's best interest. You know, Lomachenko probably would move up and whoop some ass and do shit that you know, most people don't believe he should do, man. So that's where your handlers got to protect the fighter at, man. And I don't think, you know, he should be in a rush, but it's rush as far as moving up in weight. But you know, he's in a push between time, because you got to look at protecting that division, man. You know, obviously Top Rank has Timo Lopez, who's been talking cash shit about Rigondeaux with Lomachenko. Before I knew who the kid was, I seen him do an interview talking about Lomachenko and Rigondeaux being overrated and stuff like that. And you know, he's a shit talker, man. He's from the Bronx. I believe he got stopped in the amateurs, one of the amateur tournaments, said he got beat by a Frenchman in round 1. So I love for somebody to ask him and get him on and ask him what's going on about that fight. Did he get disqualified, or what was the situation about that? But other than that, you look at Devin Haney possibly can come up. He's a promotional free agent. You know, it's a plethora of talent at 135 that could be on the rise. Possibly Shakur Stevenson, a couple weight classes below, can come up. You know, Ryan Garcia somewhere in the building. I just seen him get beat up at Mayweather Boxing Gym again from back in March by a totally another guy. But you know, that's another conversation for another day. You know, for Lomachenko, it's tough. It's tough sledding, man. I just want to see how Bob Arum's gonna finesse his opponent list, man, because it ain't too many people there, man, that's ready right now. You know, but I'm gonna keep reading these comments. Shout out to the Boxing Clinic. What up, DeLone Wolf? Jesus, Roman Jesus, Crawford, another Bradley fighting top ranked bums. Jesus again. Lomachenko needs to stop ducking Mikey. I mean, it ain't him ducking Mikey. I don't think he's ducking Mikey. We know his handlers is. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I remember Bernard Hopkins saying that these fighters need to take control of their career and, you know, tell their handlers to make shit happen. And hopefully Lomachenko tells him to make the Mikey fight happen. I don't think Lomachenko's ducking anybody. I think he's the type of dude, if you let him off the leash, he gonna, you know, do what he gotta do. But that's why you got handlers and promoters, folks, man. Sometimes you gotta protect these fighters, man. You look at Adrian Broner. You know, they told him don't fight Marcus Badana. He was one of the first fighters I remember, you know, having motherfuckers poll who he's supposed to fight. And anybody remember that Madonna fight where he had everybody take a poll and see who he's supposed to fight? And the fans chose Madonna, and it was supposed to be pay-per-view, and they changed it at the last minute, and you know, he got whooped on, man. I always wanted to see Broner versus Robert Guerrero after the little spat they had. And what's so funny about that spat was actually at the Chad Dawson and Andre Ward a weigh-in or a press conference. And I'm watching that fight right now as we talk. You know, just one of the fights that was recommended on my YouTube TV, and I'm watching that fight right now. That's what's so funny about that shit, man. But you know, we talk about some Crawford real quick, man. If y'all got questions, I answer questions throughout the whole thing, man. Charlo or Golovkin, that's a tough one. Man. I just really couldn't pick. I probably slightly lean towards Golovkin just because he's a known commodity. But his last performance, I haven't watched it yet, which I'll go and watch the Violence fight. Several people told me that the kid got hurt. You know, the kid hurt him, Golovkin, you know, Violence. He hurt him. And when you fight in the style Triple G fight in, man, and what he has over 30-something fights, and you constantly letting people hit you on the chin, or you fight a style where you get peppered on the chin, you get hit a lot, no matter if it's Paulie hitting you or if it's Mike Tyson hitting you so many times, after a while, your body has a punch count. And I say this all the time. Neurologically, your body only can handle so much punishment to the brain and to the physical body. And also so many steps that you take, you run in, and so many reps you take in the gym, your body physically starts to break down. And that's why it's important for you to kind of, take extended breaks, man. Extended breaks. And a lot of these sparring they do and headgear, you still taking beatings on your head. So eventually he gonna break down. Any fighter that 100% relies on their chin and use that pressure style, eventually they break down and get knocked out or get hurt. So he's in a rush between time, and it looks like he might fight Sergey Shevchenko next. And he's a good fighter, but he don't have the experience, y'all. But to talk about that, I did a video on. Did I do a video on Sergey? Yeah, I just dropped a video on Triple G's next two mandatories. And the risk is not too far off, man. The risk is not far off at all. The risk is basically, both of them can fight. Shevchenko is a technician. He's a guy that work up and down. And what's so difficult about Sergey is the fact that he has a great footwork. His feet are better than Jermall Charlo, and he steps around and he uses angles. So with a guy like Golovkin, he could kind of mimic something that Billy Joe Saunders would do. But the thing about Sergey is he commits to his punches and he punches through the target, where Billy Joe Saunders kind of more punches at the target, and Sergey would turn Triple G in the middle of the ring and be aggressive. Where Charlo is difficult for Triple G at is a totally different angle. Where Sergey is 5'9" and he's real compact. He's the guy that had, don't let the 12-0 record fool you with 10 knockouts. He had 24 fights in a World Series boxing or the World Boxing Series, whatever it is. It's kind of like it's run by the ABIB or whatever, the amateur little thing. And they hold a tournament for amateur fighters, but it got professional rules. You know what I'm saying? No headgear. I don't know the glove amount, but they fight. They fight like professionals. It's a tournament. He won 23 bouts. He only lost one. And the one bout that he lost to is the regular WBA champion, Brian Castanos. That's the one guy that he did lose to. In all his amateur career, Sergey Shevchenko, he just came up short. He got beat by Matt Korbov in the semifinals, and he just never can get over the hump of the quarters in the semifinals in medal, and really none of the major amateur tournaments. So he's always came up a smidgen short, but you got to know, the amateurs is two different ball games, and he seems to have a more of a pro style offense because he works the body a lot. He's the guy that will work the body, but Jermall Charlo presents a different type of animal, and the animal that he presents is height, strength, length, and his jab. His jab is probably one of the better jabs in the division. The only jab that probably would rival his jab that I could think of would be Triple G's himself. And he's a puncher. He's smart. He's a good counter puncher. He's a guy that can catch and shoot and return with the same hand. He don't have the feet of his brother, but he's a big, strong, physical specimen. But the thing about both of those guys is, and the reason why I won't just jump out on a limb and pick Jermall Charlo is because I don't know how his jaw is. Triple G dishes out some thunder. I'm not gonna stand on top of the World Trade, World Trade Center, or whatever, and tell people that Charlo is gonna dominate Triple G. I'm not sure about that. Can he take punishment to the jaw? That'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how he attacks. Triple G. I know how Shevchenko probably would attack him. He probably wouldn't change his style. You know what I'm saying? He'll probably just turn Triple G and use footwork and work the body upstairs. So he's a technician. Sergey Shevchenko, he's a technician. Jermall, you just don't really know like what he has in the tank. Mentally in his jaw. They had a mentality, but you see a lot of guys that talk that tough shit and get in there and get hit and change, like that. So do I think Jermall is talented? Yes. But I think his brother is more talented than him. But I couldn't pick that. I couldn't really, say without really. I would really have to break down film for a few days to give you an absolute answer on that one. But I would favor Golovkin right now, to be honest. Loma versus Russell rematch would be interesting. I'd like to see it. Yeah, it would be interesting, man. Russell said he'd be willing to go up to 140. I don't believe that. But I just think Lomachenko footwork is superior. That's why Gary Russell lost. But it's something that I would love to see again. Gary Russell has improved since then, man. True. I definitely believe Charlo fucks up Jacobs. Yeah, that's a good fight. Jacobs, I think Jacobs was pressing at the crib, man. I think we overreacted. I think he wanted to get a knockout for the hometown. So I'm not gonna hold that performance against him. But something that Abel Sanchez said is like he ain't the same fighter since he fought Triple G, and I could make the same case for Triple G. Triple G ain't the same fighter since he fought Danny Jacobs. He totally fought passive versus Canelo Alvarez. He the reason he lost that fight, to be honest, man. Be real, man. He didn't really sell out and go for it. I think Danny Jacobs, and him, similar like Matisse and Danny, they took a lot out of each other. And Danny and Matisse wasn't the same fighter after that, man. A lot of people don't, mention that. Sergey, I agree, needs more tough fights. Yeah, he do need more tough fights, but like I said, he had 24 fights over at the World Boxing Series, man. So, he had some tough fights. He had some fights over there. Rasheed Warren fought in that, and Vasily Lomachenko fought in that same thing. It allows you. I'm gonna give you the right name for it, bro. I got my computer up, so let me give you the correct name for that tournament real quick. I just had to pull it up earlier, man, and I had heard about it, and I heard some fight, Lomachenko talk about how they didn't allow you to have open glove. Everything had to be closed as far as the glove. So it does have certain it does have certain certain different rules in the professional boxing. And it used to be some debate about it totally looks different on my here we go. It totally looks different on my computer than on my phone. But yeah, he competed 2010, 2014. Shevchenko took part in the World Series of Boxing. Excuse me, that's the name, the World Series of Boxing, where he became known as one of the best boxers in the competition. Shevchenko became known for his excellent technique and hand speed. He competed 24 bouts, winning 23. His sole loss in competition came from Brian Castano. He's the guy that's in contention. I think holds the regular WBA belt, by the way. So he's a guy that's being known as a professional as well. But it been some talk about why the professional wins, these wins at this World Series of Boxing doesn't translate to professional wins. A lot of people think that some of these wins should be on your professional record. So it was some talk about that as well. But this is the definition of the tournament real quick before we move on. World Series of Boxing, or the WSB, is an international boxing tournament that allows amateur boxers to compete professionally while maintaining amateur status and Olympic eligibility. It is organized by the AIBA. So yeah, something that a lot of the foreign guys do to maintain, to make some money or get some pro experience while while still holding a amateur and Olympic eligibility. But now you can be a professional and fight in Olympics, as a boxer. So that kind of takes their steam away though. But that's what it was. Everybody's resume is bad at 160 because no one fights. We need everybody to stay busy. But I guarantee the next few years is going to be exciting. At 160, Golovkin is gone. Yeah, I thought that he should drop his belts as well, Gennady Golovkin. But he obviously he don't want to do that. Maybe he still has ambitions on fighting Billy Joe Saunders. But if he ain't gonna fight Billy Joe Saunders, I'll just hold the Super WBA belt. It don't have a mandatory. So, but you're right. But a lot of these guys ain't really been at this division long or at the elite level to actually fight guys. A lot of these guys just bubbled at 160. Jamal Charlo was a guy who I thought had a shitty ass resume, and I thought Jamel should have got a title shot before him, but he got a title shot first. And then he picked up the same people talking about, oh, he had a subpar performance versus Austin Trout. Austin Trout ain't an easy guy to beat. And for one, for two, that was legitimately his first step up fight. His brother had fought Rosado. His brother had fought Vanes Monterosian. He had Demetrius Hopkins. Charles Moyaki. He fought a lot of tough, undefeated guys. Jamal ain't fight no tough motherfuckers, man. I don't even remember seeing him really fight on TV like that. But Jamel fought a lot of tough competition. But people talk about the Vaness fight with Jamel. Jamel was a totally different fighter at the time, man. The Vaness fight actually made Jamel Charlo go over to Derrick James. You know, people forget that when him and Ronnie Shields and Jamel Charlo in that fight were arguing, and he didn't like how Ronnie Shields was disrespecting him. Then they split. He got with Derrick James. He had the hiccup versus Julian Jackson's son, John Jackson. And ever since then, him and Derrick James have perfected closing distance and made him an aggressive fighter. And I tell people this all the time. I feel Jamel Charlo is the best well-rounded fighter in the world. Just knowing what he came from, where he could box on the back foot, how defensive and counterpuncher he was at first, where a lot of people never got that notoriety because he was fighting on cards, but he wasn't fighting on the main event, or the co-feature. I just thought that his foot movement, his defense and counterpunching ability was like really, really good. And now he's an aggressive knockout style puncher that's generating power. So he got the best of both worlds right now, but he got to just step up and get some real competition and prove it, man. But yeah, 160, yeah, a lot of guys ain't fought nobody. I mean, even Triple G ain't really fought nobody, but to give him credit, man, that division in 160 pounds just been infused with a lot of talent. You got Jamal that came up, Demetrius that came up, Sergey who came out of nowhere with the 12 fights. He needed tougher fights, but he could fight. Peter Quillen left, but you still got Danny Jacobs hanging in there. You got Canelo that's in there. I mean, you got a really, really solid. You got a solid ass division, man. It's a solid division, but you can't expect those guys just to fight each other like that, man. A lot of them guys that just got in this division, they got to find their way. And them old heads, as far as the Golovkin and Jacobs, they not really rushing for fighting none of the young guys, because at this point, if you beat these young guys, man, if you beat these young guys, I mean, what did you accomplish? They didn't get a chance to build themselves up. They didn't really earn their spot. So that's how some of them guys are looking at it. But let's look at the 160-pound division real quick, man. Looking at the boxing, I just found boxing scene has good rankings. It's real. None of them really update like as fast as they should, but Fight News don't update as fast. It's a good one to use as well. But Charlo's the interim champion, so we're looking for different names. David Lemieux is moving up the super middleweight. If y'all haven't heard, Willie Monroe is still there. Gary Sparkle Sullivan, Jack Colclough moved up. Yamaguchi Falco, he's gonna be fighting Demetrius Andrade possibly. Him and his brother Escovo, Falco, good amateur fighters. I like what I see on film so far. The other Falco brother is gonna be fighting Ryder Murata. He lost to Ryder Murata, the Japan regular WBA title holder, in the gold medal round. So for y'all guys that like those top tier amateur fighters and Olympic fighters, that'd be a good fight for y'all guys. Probably be on the ESPN Plus app or the ESPN2 app. So it ain't too many other great guys there. Martin Murray still hanging around, man. Anthony Mundine somehow got in there. Slucky is hanging around there, which if I was him, I'd go back down to 154 and be a beast. Luis Arias is hanging around there. So you got some good guys. You got some good amateur guys too in the Falco brothers, man. I'm really interested to see them. And also Robert Brandon's moved back in the WBA, man, after losing the World Box Super 6 tournament to Yerman Berman, who dropped out due to a sickness. So let's keep it going. I think Charlo is the biggest threat to Triple G, possibly, man. Billy Joe Saunders is a good fighter as well. But I'm not gonna go on a limb on none of them guys, man. I'm going down there. What up, Super Dog? Triple G not fighting Big Charlo. Yeah, he probably won't. If he dropped the belt, he dropped the belt, man. I can't. If he gets to that mandatory, we'll see what he does. Roman Jesus, but I'm gonna say this. Between his two mandatories and Shevchenko and Charlo will probably bring the most money if he let Charlo drag him over to Premier Boxing Champions. Let's see. What's up in the corner boxing? Big up TBC 160-pound division is hot. Just need to mix it up with the Fabulous 40. Yeah, they do need to mix it up. But a lot of them guys, just got there, Andrade and Charlo. So Billy Joe Saunders should be mixing up with Triple G, but we know that situation where Oscar told him don't fight him last year. What's your thoughts on Jack and Stevenson? I think Badou Jack is a great boxer, but he has no skills to finish. Yeah, he don't have no killer instinct, bro. Badou Jack had Stevenson hurt like 7 to 10 times in that fight where he could have dropped him or finished him. He didn't. But hey, Floyd wasn't a great finisher when he got up to 140 pounds, 147. Badou Jack just got to work around that and start a little bit faster. But the one thing I said when people say, well, Badou Jack was scared, he really wasn't scared. Badou Jack The same reason he got probably knocked out by Derek Edwards. Badou Jack came out bone dry, man. Anytime you see a fighter come out bone dry, where there's no sweat or lather on them, that's why you see them fighters cover up in those towels and really cover up. And they come out, their back is dry and their whole body is dry. They don't have no sweat. Either they had a hard time making weight or they had a shitty time warming the hell up. And Badou Jack, he came out cold. And when you come out cold, when you get caught, that's how you get knocked out. You don't have a lather. You don't warm up those muscles. And Stevenson even had a little bit of lather on him. He was a little bit better warmed up than Badou Jack. So Jack needs to work on warming up. I remember I was watching Paul Williams before he fought Sergio Martinez in one of those fights. He was jump roping, staying warm up. So maybe he needs to jump rope, or do something, cover up a little bit more, put some hoodies on and some shit and warm up better in the locker room. But shout out to Mr. Diaz Factor 87. Hope Canelo and Triple G don't have the rematch. It will open up the division. Yeah, it only opens up the division if they force Triple G to fight his mandatories, man, or they make him drop them belts. Only way to open up the division, man. I would just like to see him get the rematch over with, man, and go and just keep it moving, man. But Triple G is playing right into Canelo's hands. Canelo been off a year. I mean, Triple G's fought May. He more warmed up. Next year, if they fight, Triple G gonna be a year older. He'll be 37 years old, May 2019. He turned 37 in April. So he just turned 36, will turn 37. So he the one that's getting played ultimately, man. If I was a boxer, I will only have one belt. Being unified champion means paycheck. Yes, 3% purse charge on most belts, unless you like Canelo, Floyd, or Marquez, or Cotto. Where your purse is like 20, 30 million, then they cut it down a little bit. So they don't take that big of a pie. Yep. But it's the prestige about holding the belts, being unified champion. It is a prestige about it. The prestige is, it's more leverage in negotiations, man. And also it's more accolades on your legacy. That's why guys do it. When you get to the point of Floyd and Pacquiao, that's why you see them not holding as many belts and don't care about being unified. Like when Floyd fought Shane, he didn't elect to fight for Shane's WBA title because he didn't want to pay that sanctioned body fee. Triple G might cash out fighting one of them youngsters. He wanted to fight Rayo Murata, but like I said, he's fighting the dude he beat in the gold medal round. I'll be interested in that fight. I like some of the I'm starting to like some of the overseas talent, and we know those Brazilian boxers are tough fighters, man. So shout out to them for mixing it up, man. Just because I don't know you don't mean you can't fight. I'm learning that in boxing. Jaime Maguire showed me that, and a few other fighters in the past, but talking about Bud, man. Let's go to Bud Crawford real quick. Fighting Jeff Horn in a couple weeks. Feel like that fight can come fast enough, but I know a lot of fighters be wanting to get their fights in before the holidays, man, so they can eat and do what they want to do. But he fighting not next weekend, but the weekend after next. And a lot of people don't know that's a big fight weekend. That's a humongous fight weekend. And not only do you have Tyson Fury returning that day, I believe you have Terry Flanagan, Maurice Hooker fighting for the vacant junior welterweight title, WBO. It was vacated by Crawford because he was undisputed. Then you go to ESPN Plus app. You got Horn and Crawford fighting for Vegas. I don't even know who's on that undercard. Part of me don't want to buy that ESPN Plus app, to be honest, man. I'm just looking like, man, I don't want to spend. It ain't that the $5.51. It's $5.51 at the taxes. That ain't the fact. That ain't the problem, man. I just don't want to give my money to Bob Arum, but I want to support Bud Crawford. I'm gonna continue to support Bud Crawford, and I'm gonna go ahead and get the app and use my 7-day free trial. I didn't watch the Jordan Acosta fight this weekend, man, because I wasn't supporting the ESPN Plus app. But you got guys, ladies like or people like Michelle Rosado, the lady Raging Bull, praising it. I seen a couple of my homies praising it, say it's a good app, got a lot of good content on it. So eventually I'm gonna see what it's about because I want to see Terrence Crawford and Horn. But not only did they put Terrence Crawford and Horn on a messed up day for Crawford, it's the same day as Abner Mars, Leo Santa Cruz too, Jamel Charlo taking on Austin Trout. So I mean, it's a jam-packed day of boxing in 2 Saturdays, man. And what's so messed up about it is that Crawford and Horn, which is a very underrated fight by a lot of casual fans, is going to be having to compete with Leo Santa Cruz and Adam Martin. That's going down to Staples Center. And then you got Crawford and Horn going down there in Vegas, the MGM Grand, the house that Floyd built. So it's a good weekend, man. But for Crawford, I think he should, all the shit they went through for this fight, it deserved to have his own weekend, man, but not to be competing with two other cards. But it's better for us. I like when they have two or three cards on the international card and two cards competing. It's just me. I could DVR one or pull one on the computer or the phone and have one on the TV. That's just how I operate though. But to Crawford and Horn, man, that's gonna be a decent fight, man. I'm starting to believe that Crawford is probably gonna wipe the floor with him because Terrence Crawford is one hell of a fighter, man. I got a lot of respect for him, man. He's a family man. He got that dog in him. He got shot in the head at a dice game and drove himself to the hospital. And he didn't let that define his future. What I mean by that, he said he wanted to go kill, find the guys that did it to him. He had just won a dice game. You know how you clean up. He's sitting in the car thinking like nobody gonna touch him. And somebody shot his partner. And when they shot his partner, they shattered his partner's arm. And so he said he was lucky, drove himself to the hospital. And if a dude could take a bullet to the head, man, it's gonna be hard to knock him out. Horn is talking greasy. I mean, real greasy. His trainer called Bo Mac, Big Mac, says fat ass needs to lose weight, and he'll whoop Bo Mac ass. So it's been a lot of trash talking going back and forth. But we know at the end of the fight, it's all love. It's all love at the end of the fight. And it'll be interesting, man. Why it's so intriguing for this fight for Terrence Crawford is the fact that we haven't seen him really fight a big guy like this. And we know the 147 pounds. It's the last division for some of these 8-ounce gloves. So that's important. Every other division higher requires a glove size higher than 8 ounces. And not only that, they still fighting them damn horsehair gloves, man. So they still fighting them horsehair gloves. That's dangerous. Horsehair is definitely thinner than foam. And you really can feel the knuckle in the glove. It's like those Reyes gloves and those lever-last Max MX gloves that Madonna tried to wear versus Floyd, and Floyd paid him not to wear them because they're dangerous. They say you can manipulate the thumb as well, and the thumb is something they stitched onto the glove for people to stop thumbing people in the eye. But you still can manipulate the thumb with the Elvis grandson, man. Let me tell you a story about this. When Madonna and Floyd fought the second time, I believe. Remember when Floyd said Madonna bit him? Floyd, was using his thumb to suffocate Marcus Madonna when he was holding him down. It's an old little dirty tactic. He was cutting his breathing supply off with the thumb. And that's why Madonna bit him in the hand, because Madonna can't breathe. So, what it is. But yeah, Horn, like Michael Swin said, Horn been talking calf shit. And Crawford is a dog. Crawford is a silent killer. He ain't gonna say too much back and forth, man. He gonna go in there and let his hands do the talking. But I think Jeff Horn is trying to get under Crawford's skin and make Crawford just lose his temper and lose his discipline and go balls to the wall, give him an opportunity to beat his ass. But the thing about Crawford is this, man. Crawford gonna always stay in position, in attack. But for Jeff Horn, he's awkward, man. I'll give him a lot of credit, man. Going back, just not even going back watching it yet, just thinking about the Manny Pacquiao fight. He had a lot of good head movement. He's a real awkward guy. He got a funky rhythm to his movement, and he'll be difficult out. A lot of people say he ain't got no skills or he a bum and he this and that. But he rugged, man. He rugged. He got the right style to kind of upset Crawford with that pressure style. Swarmers, bother boxer punchers. And if Crawford can establish that distance and Horn can erase his angles and erase the distance, it's gonna be a difficult fight. We're gonna see, how Crawford, operates in close quarters. We're gonna see how he creates space. We're gonna see if his power is big enough to keep Horn at bay and eventually stop Horn. We were talking on Corey Lee Boxing Talk. If he stops Horn, how impressed will we be, and how will we, measure that barometer to how he fight with Earl Spence? And it's a good measurement because both Horn and Spence, are strong welterweights that come down the middle and try to bang it out, man. Try to bang it out. So I will never compare Spence and Horn as far as skill set, but physical size, they both strong, and they both pretty, they both strong. But obviously Earl Spence has more skills than Jeff Horn. But if Jeff Horn beats Terrence Crawford, I would be hella surprised, man. I'd be surprised. Yeah, you're right. Crawford is a very disciplined fighter, Mr. Michael Swint. Horn is good. Yeah, Horn is good, man. I think Horn I think Horn can give Danny Garcia and Sean Porter good runs for their money. But I mean, I think Crawford is just an exceptional fighter. Floyd did the same thing to Canelo, but Canelo hit Floyd in the nuts. Yeah, there's some little old dirty tricks, man. And you talking about Canelo, man. Canelo and Floyd real quick. The reason Canelo couldn't beat Floyd is the same reason why Thurman could never beat Floyd. They load up on their punches too much. They telegraph their punches, man. And Floyd can see you telegraph and loading your punches. You ain't gonna beat him. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, that was just talking between each other, but yeah, you got that fight, man. I'm not really concerned about Jamel and Trout's fight. I mean, it's good for Jamel because he likes to fight he likes to train in LA a lot. So Charlo's like to fight in LA a lot. I mean, as far as training at the Goose and 10 gym, so it's good for them. It's like a home away from home. But you know, other than that, more boxing talk. Talking about Crawford and Horn. Obviously, got Earl and Ocampo. I haven't really did any homework on Ocampo, man. Seen him fight a couple times. I just know that Constantine Poolmar abducted him. But it's a good card over there too. That's the following week after June 9th. So obviously Crawford and Horn is fighting back to back. It'll be a lot of comparison, a lot of back and forth going between those fellows. But as far as you got the Joshua and Wilder situation, man, and a lot of people tired of hearing that and hearing the dead horse be down. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think a lot of people starting to see starting to see Joshua in the games that he playing, man. I got a video coming out talking about Joshua. When I'm done here, I'll drop a video, man. It's gonna be some shocking things, but I can't let the cat out the bag because why the fuck you watch the video. But about Joshua, people starting to see that he don't really want the Wilder fight, and it's not that his natural conscience isn't that. I think his natural conscience is he want to compete and prove that he the best. But I think Eddie Hearn and Barry Hearn is really spoiling his mind and poisoning his mind. I think so. I say that because that's their biggest investment in AJ, man. No other fighter they got can come close to AJ. Once they lose AJ as a cash cow with a Matchroom, I mean, they had nothing else. They lost James together, they lost Carl Frampton. They put so much time and money invested into this guy, man, that if he loses, man, that company might go bankrupt, And, I think he understand that, man. I think they paid him the $100 million extension. And I think, I think that he fit. I think his pride as a person, as a man, believes that he can whoop on Wilder. But I think Eddie and Barry is in the thought of Roy Jones and Teddy Atlas saying that he don't really need to fight right now. He just need to lay low and fight Povetkin or somebody like that. And Cali the Enigma, shout out to the homie Cali Enigma. He had an interesting video today saying that that Eddie Hearn still has the Barclay on reserve in August for a potential Joshua Miller fight. I just don't see Povetkin stepping away like that, man. Povetkin is 36 years old. I know 36 sound like the age today, and he wants his shot versus he wants a shot versus Joshua, man. He wants his big shot versus Joshua, and I don't think he want to wait for that shot. He don't want to wait, So they had to offer him big step aside money to let this real Miller fight happen. And if you're gonna fight in America and pay somebody big step aside money, you want it to be a big fight. And I hopefully in my opinion, he doesn't fight Miller. He comes to the United States to fight Miller and not Wilder. It's crazy. But that's just how he moves, man. I think they really want to test the market, and I don't think Miller is the ideal guy to test the market in the United States. I think the only guy you can test the market and make the market with is with Deontay Wilder. But I mean, they want to play like that with Wilder. I mean, they can play because everybody's starting to see that Joshua and Eddie Hearn and Matchroom are fools. They contradiction. They lying. Excuse me, they lying to everybody. So even the people that believe Wilder was full of horse shit, and ain't believe Wilder would step up, they would believe Wilder was scared of Joshua and just thought Joshua could do no wrong. They starting to see that Joshua was full of horse shit too. They really starting to see that. And I've been telling you guys that from the jump. You got to read into the bullshit, man. Sometimes body language and reading between the lines and remembering what they said and catching them into their lies. And that's what Eddie Hearn been doing the whole time. Eddie Hearn don't want Wilder, Wilder smoke. Why would he at this point? That guy's dangerous. He's peaking out right now. Wilder's at the climax right now, or close to his climax right now. And he's close to his peak. You know, we thought Wilder could legitimately get no better than what he was when he first fought Bermane Stiverne. But he's definitely groomed into the fighter that we never thought he could be. You know, we just thought he'd be windmill Wilder forever. But now he's not only acting like a fighter, he's fighting like a fighter, he's performing like a fighter, he's moving like a fighter. He is a fighter. You know, he's a real boxer now, man. Don't like him or not, the dude has become a real thorough professional boxer. So that's something to be said. And I didn't think I'd see the day where Deontay Wilder develop into the champion that he is. And a shout out to that brother, man, because he is a hell of a fighter, man. He's a hell of a fighter now, man. And AJ is gonna have to break through that plateau and become a better fighter. So we'll see. Wilder is chinny too. I don't think Wilder's chinny. That's one of the biggest misconceptions, man. I've never really. I mean, he's been dropped early in his career, but other than that, I've never seen him legitimately hurt and consistently hurt on a regular basis. I know Ortiz hurt him, but Ortiz didn't drop him, and it didn't really waver him. He got his head back, and he ended up knocking down, and then eventually knocking out Ortiz. If anybody is chinny, it's Anthony Joshua. Every time Joshua was touched on the chin, you know, especially in Joseph Parker, this dude was on wobbly legs. Joshua has a worse chin than Wilder, especially if you know all the sparring rumors where he been dropped on the floor, been knocked out cold by David Price, dropped by Du Bois, dropped by the cruiserweight Lawrence O'Callaghan. I mean, you know, like I said, it'll be an interesting fight, man. Yeah, everybody's dropped in the amateurs, man. I mean, as far as heavyweights, especially, I wouldn't be surprised why Joshua and Wilder was dropped in the amateurs. They both had late starts, man. They both overachieved. AJ got dropped by Klitschko. Yeah, he got dropped by Klitschko, man. Klitschko is a hard puncher, man. You know, even at that old age, everybody that you talked that fought Vladimir Klitschko said he was one of the hardest punchers that they ever experienced, man. So he's a hard puncher. I won't even front. You know, him and Wilder, man, is comparable in power. You know, Vitaly, which he had Vladimir Klitschko's power, man. I think so because he's that corny ass British charm, nice ass nigga. Well, I like to see Ortiz versus Big Baby. Yeah, he beat shit out Big Baby. Big Baby, you know, everybody getting on Dylan White for talking shit about Ortiz. He was old and shit, but Big Baby was running his mouth about how old Ortiz was too. So Big Baby can get that work too. You know what I'm saying? Ortiz beat the fuck out of Big Baby, man. You know, only way Big Baby beat Ortiz if he just he lean on Ortiz too much, and Ortiz just old and hurt from that knockout that Deontay gave him, man. And that's the only way, but you know, it is what it is, man. You go down to let's see. We can stay at the welterweight. We can go to the welterweight division real quick. Talk about Terrence Bud Crawford, and we already talked about him and Errol Spence. That seemed to be everybody's fight now that Keith Thurman got out the way. And we were talking about Black Horseman Promotions earlier. He like Keith Thurman still, man. I don't think a lot of people is out of sight, out of mind with Keith Thurman, but Keith Thurman is a good fighter, man. You know, you can't forget a talent like that. And whatever he got going on in his situation, I'm not gonna be mad at him though. Eventually, if he comes back, he comes back. But he's staying away so long, he might have to move up in weight first. So, but we have to see, man. We definitely have to see with Keith Thurman. He made the division interesting, but a lot of people say welterweight is this great deep division. I see it as a good division, but it don't really have any depth, man. My sleeper is Rashidi Ellis, man, but he signed a Golden Boy. But that's not the bad thing, because Golden Boy make fights, but he just, he's not getting the promotion or the notoriety that he deserves. Even people on the East Coast don't know him. He's a good fighter. Strong, speedy, hard puncher type of guy. He could be a black horse in the division. But like I said, man, the division ain't that deep, man. I see a lot more divisions that deep, and also that it's not so deep. A lot of the guys don't fight each other. You finally get Sean Porter and Danny Garcia fighting each other after several years. God damn, it feel like, man. Then you got Errol Spence. He gonna fight with Campo. Keith Thurman is out of Dodge. You don't have a lot of depth there. It's a good 4 or 5, 6 welterweights, man. He's got Earl, Terrence, Keith, Sean and Danny, and Jeff Horn. You got to put him in there. Keith. Got about 6 or 7, man. I just like to see him fight more. Eventually you have Regis Prograis, eventually moving up and trying to make some things happen for itself. So we definitely see where the hell that goes with him. But just be interesting, man. You got Amir Khan still in there. I think he should just continue to chase Kell Brook. He said right here, Amir Khan, no fear of Kell Brook. I love to fight and beat him. I mean, you didn't put it off so much. Everybody know you scared of Kell Brook. You know what I'm saying? That's a fight that even people in America, they've been built up and marinated so long. People in America want to see the damn fight. And he been bullshitting, man. But let's talk about it's something I haven't talked about, man. I haven't talked about Jaime Munguia taking on Liam Smith. It's going down in July, I believe. Jaime Munguia is about to enter camp, I think, next week. And it should be interesting, man. Jaime Munguia's first real test at 154 pounds versus Lima Beefy Smith. Lima Smith is a guy that lost to Canelo, beat Lyman Williams, was pretty much being lined up to beat Saddam Ali, and then have a British clash with Kell Brook. So that'd have been interesting if he had that clash with Kell Brook, But obviously, Jaime Munguia beat Saddam Ali, and now Liam Smith got an opportunity to fight, Jaime Munguia, and this is an opportunity for Jaime Munguia to show his legitimacy at 154 pounds by beating a 154 pounder of Liam Smith. So it'll be interesting, man. I'm big on Jaime Munguia. Like his left hook, like his right hand. I think he's gonna beat the shit out of Lyman Smith. He could beat Lyman Williams' ass too. It don't really matter. But I think he beat Lyman Smith, and I think he's gonna open some people's eyes. And the question marks about him beating the welterweight and Saddam Ali will go away. And I think you'll hear his name mentioned with a Charlo and Herb more often. He's a guy that can easily move up to 160. He's 21 years old. He's not limited like Canelo, where Canelo was a welterweight was a welterweight in height and length. But he was a fucking middleweight or junior middleweight in weight. So, that's the thing about it, man. But, Jaime Munguia probably going to beat the shit out of Lyman Smith. Send Lyman Smith back to the UK packing. So I really ain't worried about that. Where he fighting? I'm not sure. It'll probably be somewhere on the West Coast, California, Texas. No, it's going to be in America. It's going to be in America versus Lyman Smith. Khan need to worry about his girl fucking Joshua. I know Joshua was like, man, this nigga had to say my name, man. Mom, he lying on me, mama. Joshua stayed with his mom. Would anyone be interested in a Wilder Ortiz rematch? Yeah, I think a lot of people are interested in that. But I think right now, Joshua is the fight that people want to see. But not even just that. Dominic Brazil is the mandatory for Wilder, so we have to wait on that Ortiz shit. Like Dylan White, we're gonna go for Puev. After talking about all that shit about beating Ortiz, old ass, he a bitch. But Quincy says Jaime Munguia seems tough, though. Yeah, he real tough, man. He can fight, man. He got a lot of skill. He just ain't no big Mexican that's just strong. He got some good hand speed. He got a great left hook. Excuse me, he got a solid jab. He's a good fighter. Munguia gets smoked by Charlo. Of course, he's 21 years old. He's not ready for that yet. Give him a break. Now let him get some fights on his belt. Let him get a Lyman Smith on his belt. Let him get a J-Rock on his belt, and then we can talk about him and Charlo, man. I'm excited to see Lyman Smith and Jaime Munguia. I'm excited about that fight as well, too, because it's a good test. It's a 154-pound test for Jaime Munguia. It shut them haters up about him. Yeah, Smith is a certified gatekeeper now, like Bronner. I mean, if he beat Jaime Munguia, we can't be calling him a gatekeeper no more. So, he got beat by Canelo, man. What can you say? Canelo is great. We asked earlier on Corley Boxing Talk, was Canelo a Hall of Famer? A lot of people said because of computer raw, they couldn't really say. I said, he probably can be on his way to being a Hall of Famer, but in my opinion, nah, he ain't no Hall of Famer right now. Probably see a lot of cloudy ass judgments, man. But with Canelo Alvarez, you never know, man. You never know. He's been in a lot of tough fights, man. A lot of questionable fights. A lot of 50-50 iffy fights. Yeah, Lyman Smith only lost once, and that was to Saul Canelo Alvarez. He last fought Lima Williams twice in a row because he missed weight the first time. So he really ain't fought nobody though, man. He's a tough guy. So I won't call him a gatekeeper after one loss, but with that, the lack of competition on his resume, I definitely can see why you call him a gatekeeper, man. Lubin and J Rock should happen. Yeah, it should happen. I like to see Lubin get a little bit more back in action a little bit. I know he was training with Kevin Cunningham for a second ago, so I see Lubin get a couple more fights on his belt. Maybe next year he could fight J Rock and make it a little bit more even match. It took J Rock a few fights to get back in the rhythm. He looked like dog shit versus Joshua Conley. Then he like dog shit versus Ishe Smith, and he put it together on the thing Gallimore ass. So it happens. Lubin needs 3 or 4 years before he fights for another time. I won't say 3 or 4 years. That's excessive. I'd say he probably need another year of fights. Probably about 3 or 4 fights. Then we could talk about it. Do it the right way this time. He wasn't ready for Charlo at all. Yeah, I told people he wasn't ready for Charlo. People didn't listen though. The dude was totally outclassed. He wasn't ready. Charlo was a different animal. People believe the hype. And, you got to fight somebody before you step on that level to get that experience. And Charlo needs to shut up Lubin. Again, Lubin been talking noise. Yeah, he young. He don't know no better, He don't know no better. He the one was on his neck sleep. So maybe he got amnesia and forgot about that. Demetrius Andrade is the saddest thing of boxing. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people, you could say that, man. Andrade is, Andre Rozier went on record with 7-8 Sports. He did an interview and said that, he was being mismanaged and shit. And then I hear people say his daddy getting in the way. I mean, he had a lot of talent, man. I remember he fought on Friday Night Fights for quite some time. He milked Friday Night Fights, and then he finally stepped up. And then, when he stepped up, then he ended up going into hiding. So, that's a shame, man. He was a good, talented kid. Rushing these prospects will fuck up their career. Yep. And then these prospects' daddies are they managers and they coaches and shit. And they daddies don't know shit about the business and think they're ready. And they go out there and get smoked. Devin Haney won't be another motherfucker if he don't, calm it down and take his time. Because he ain't ready, man. He ain't ready. He think he ready, but he ain't. He got to take his time. Timo Lopez, too. You got to take your time. It's no need to rush, man. Seriously, it's no need to rush out here. These belts ain't going nowhere. Let some of these top tier fighters, slim down and condense the competition. And then when the time is right, you'll know when it's right for you to move up and get a belt. You'll definitely know when it's time to move up and get yours, man. Yeah, that's a theme in boxing. All these prospects think they ready, to be the greatest and do something new and be the new Mike Tyson and be the youngest champion. Be the next David Benavidez. They ain't ready yet, man. They ain't ready yet, but, it is what it is. Here we go. Let me see. Same with Ryan and Tank. Tank is a big dog compared to him. Yeah. Ryan's just using his name for notoriety. It's simple as that. They know Ryan Garcia is not ready for that type of guy. But hey, it is what it is, man. A lot of these guys think they're ready, but they don't be ready, man. But can't be mad, man. Can't be mad. A lot of these guys need to be taught a lesson. But you do got Pacquiao fighting, man. Shout out to Pacquiao, fighting again, fighting Matisse. Regis Progress got his own card under there, but I was getting excited for Pacquiao and Matisse. I'm not paying for it though. It still ain't been no price about what it's gonna be. But they crazy. That shouldn't be a pay-per-view fight. But Pacquiao wanted the court to Bob Arum, wanted to be pay-per-view. So I'm not gonna even elaborate on that situation, man. I think hopefully I hope all is well with them, man. Matisse, he ain't looked like shit in a long time. Since he fought Nanny Garcia, he ain't looked like the same fighter, man. He really hasn't. But that's him. But any questions y'all can shoot him. We're gonna try to string this out a little bit more longer. Trying to stay up. So what better way than to talk boxing? Like I said, Robert Jr. He's training with Kevin Cunningham. That should be interesting, man. A lot of people not giving Robert, any chance to beat Mikey Garcia? I think I'll give him a chance just on the fact that, his height, his length, and his athletic ability, man. If he can get behind that length and height, he could do some things in there, man. He really can. But let me get my other headphones back, man. That's like a muscle memory. Learn how to use your height and stay there. Because usually in boxing, when guys get with new trainers and they probably learn new things, soon as the pressure get on, they forget every new thing they learn. It's repetition. And we don't got that repetition. That's tough. Because you're gonna revert back to doing what you did before. You learn these new skills and shit, man. And be glad these damn headphones fucking charge up so I can have some comfort. And these other ones I got, they missing their little rubber piece on it. But yeah, man. It's gonna be interesting to see Mikey and Robert Reeser Jr. Everybody just think Robert is Mikey and it'll be interesting. Everybody think Mikey is just gonna beat the shit out of Robert. I think it's gonna be a competitive. I think Robert got some speed. He got some talent, man. He just got to put it together. It ain't like he's one of those guys that don't have the amateur pedigree. He definitely does, and he just fights stupid, man. I'm glad he made the switch over to Kevin Cunningham, man. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna just use these half-ass charged headphones because these old headphones from wherever the hell I got them from, 5 and below, they ain't fucking cutting it. Ain't cutting it, man. Give me 1 second, fellas. That's the goal. But there's my computer speakers right here. So let me turn my headphones on. Y'all just give me 1 second. Okay. All right. Y'all give me 1 second. I'm gonna be right back on. Yeah, like that. I want a pair. But today, pair, we gonna continue to talk about Robert Jr. It'll be interesting to see how Mikey attacks him, man. I really do want to see how Mikey chooses to attack Robert Jr., man. Honestly, man, I want to see how he cuts the distance off. I know Robert can give his height up. That's a real possibility. And Mike can get on the inside and rip his body and stuff. But, if this fight was at 140, it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see, man. It'd be definitely interesting to see how this fight goes down, man, if it was at 140. But, it's at 135. And I say it's interesting at 140 because Mikey Garcia looks like a totally different fighter between 30 and 45. At 35, he looks beatable, man. At 40, he looks beatable. He a little slower. He don't punch as hard, and he look a little bit softer on the belly. But we see with Robert, man. Robert, he don't seem to really. It's hard for him to make weight. He still is lively. He still got energy. He still got feet. He still got hand speed. He got the total package to be a great fighter. I know a lot of people are trying to compare him to Thomas Hearns because of his height and length. But he was more like Paul Williams because he never consistently used, controlled distance, man. And Paul Williams never controlled distance. He just mixed it up like he was a smaller fighter. But people still were scared of him. Robert has – there we go right there. As soon as I say Robert has Paul Williams syndrome, that doesn't mean he is trash like people were saying, maybe too far along to change him. Yeah, Punch quote, that could be true. Could be too far along to change him. Like I said with Adrian Broner, man. I thought that Adrian Broner should have took a year off and worked on his fundamentals, man. And I know it's hard for guys that they got money that's coming out, they got bills, they got family, they got kids, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes you got to take a step back in your career and get it right. And with Broner, he should have just went back to the gym, took interviews with trainers or something, interviewed different trainers, see where he worked best at. I still think he would have been best with Derek James. But he chose Kevin Cunningham, which ain't a bad place. He's a guy that's very, very disciplined. But Robert, followed him, and it seemed like Mike Stafford and Robert Reese Senior is letting his son go there, and it'd be for the better. It'd be for the best. So, yeah, I don't know how you make weight in either, Mike. He makes weight. He don't look like he's starving. He looks full. I just don't like the way that they can't get him to fight and use that height. He's smart. He fights like the weight class that he in. He fights a smarter fight. And then when you get in with a guy like Shavakov, or you get in there with a guy like Javier Fortuna, guys that got shorter arms, so when you move in close, they punches get home before your long ass punches and make you look even worse than what you are. So it is what it is, man. But with that height and that length, he can be a real problem and a real player at 135 pounds. But obviously, he don't want to use it. And I seen him hitting the pads. He got an amazing hand speed too. He's a real athlete, man. And Toledo really loves that guy, man. So I hope that he does well. Boxing Clinic more. I think Cunningham will help Easter find his length and get behind his height and reach. But you are right, he can't do it in one camp. Yep, it's not. He should have made this change a while ago. You can't do it in one camp. It ain't gonna help. Got to keep doing it over and over again. It's a little bit too late, but maybe he could be the exception to the rule. Yeah, I don't know how you make 135 either, man. Ryan Garcia is garbage to me. He strikes me as a fighter with no heart. He's suspect to me. I don't think he can overcome adversity. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. That's a guy they're going to protect for a while, man. Ryan got a lot to learn, as every young fighter do, man. He's a good fighter, but he got a lot to learn. Robert lost to Fortuna. A lot of people thought he lost to Fortuna. Bring up Javier Fortuna. He's fighting at 140 pounds. Well, he's fighting the catch weight between 135 and 140 versus Adrian Granados on an Earl Spence Carlson Campbell card. So, shout out to Javier Fortuna, man. Putting on for Dominican brothers. Roman Jesus fact, I can definitely see him quitting too, even though he never quit. Ryan Garcia is the next Broner. Open paper, Mikey Garcia should smash. On paper, Mikey Garcia should smash Eastern. Yeah, he should, man. But Mikey Garcia, like I said before, he been dropped before. Robert Jr. is a good puncher. I mean, Lipinets opened his nose up. If Robert Jr. can touch Mikey Garcia, it'll be an interesting fight. It'd be a very, very interesting fight if he could touch Javier Fortuna, man. I mean, if he could touch Mikey Garcia, it'd be very, very interesting, man. You got Tyson Fury. We just kind of glanced over that. Hold on. Robert versus Tank, even though they friends, would love to see it. I think Tank beat the fuck out of him. Even though Tank is like a whole, like way shorter than him. Well, but Tyson Fury coming back, man. I'm gonna do a video on this guy, man. Maybe I'll do it when I get off, man. But it'll be interesting, man. I think he's one of the most skilled heavyweights, man. I think Ortiz is the most skilled heavyweight. I think Tyson Fury, if he come back to form, he might be the most skilled heavyweight as well. A lot of feints. He knows how to use his height and length. He got good footwork. His footwork was so good that Vladimir Klitschko put a foam substance under the ring before they fought in Germany, and Team Tyson Fury had it removed to slow down his movement. So, that's crazy, man. So, I mean, with him, he back in shape, but is he gonna be in boxing shape? And obviously, by them taking this powder puff, cream puff of opponent, it shows them that they trying to ease the guy back in. So he's definitely not ready for Wilder or Anthony Joshua right now. Or Joseph Parker, Luis Ortiz, Alexander Povetkin. But time will tell, man. Time will tell. I'm very, very interested and intrigued on Tyson Fury coming back. Like I said, maybe Robert Jr. go train with Tyson Fury. Fury is a guy that knows how to control distance, feint, and use his height and length, because without his height and length and his feint and his ability to control distance, he dog food. We see Steve Cunningham put him on his ass. We've seen a couple other fighters, have success, but he's good at what he do. He's good at fighting tall and controlling and using his height. And, Robert Jr. needs to look at him and using that height. We got a question. Kell Brook versus Herb. I think Herb about decapitation. Kell Brook is done. No matter how much muscle he put on or whatever it may be in his situation, he's done. I don't see him coming back, man. He got a lot of heart. He's one of those fighters that had a ton of heart, man. He's tenacious. He
he got all the intangibles and tangibles, man. You know, but you know the tangible that he don't have is I don't see his feet being that good. His defense not that good. His feet is very, very suspect, man. You know, he don't move fluently. He not slick. He's a good fighter. He got good accuracy. You know, it's open season. If you let him, you know, set up and get set and punch on your ass, he gonna definitely put it on you. But you know, Hurd is just gonna destroy him. He's just too big. Is Kell Brook a better puncher than Charlo and maybe Charlo? Is he a better puncher than Lara? Perhaps he better puncher than Tony Harrison. Perhaps, but I don't think he's a big enough puncher to keep Jerry Swift Hurd off of him. I think Hurd is just going to continue to batter and break him down and make him more machine than man at this time. You know, I think it's a bad fight, but I'm glad he's getting the tune-up in July. And then he's thinking about Amir Khan and Jerry Hurd. I think it's best for him to fight Amir Khan twice and retire and cash out. And if it's good enough to fight him a third time, so, you know. Kell Brook 6'9" jab will be worthless versus Hurd. Yeah, it'll be worthless, man. He would definitely have to. I don't know how you beat Hurd at his size, man. That'll be a tough task for Dominic Ingle and company. It'll be a tough task, man. Earl destroyed him. So did Triple G. You know, Earl made a lot of adjustments. He made a lot of adjustments in that fight. You know. How Kell Brook was able to hold Sean Porter, Earl did not allow him to hold him. So, Hurd gonna have CTE though if he doesn't work on his defense and take too many shots. Yeah, he relies on that melon too much. If Hurd go to middleweight, it's gonna be problems. Now, if he fights Triple G, it's gonna be problems. Yep. If he fights Triple G, it's gonna be a lot of problems, man. He gotta learn how to get some head movement going, man. How to box, you know, going forward with the head movement. He walked right into guys and with his melon straight up, and he just takes punishment and takes shit on the chin all night, you know. And he might get rocked, you know, here and there, but then, you know, he just comes on harder, and it's his pressure, his size, and his speed and his power just overwhelms guys, man. It truly does overwhelm a lot of opponents, and you know, he takes their legs away. And Lara fought valiantly, but he came up short, you know. So Golovkin destroyed Brook in fighting. Spence was his icing on the cake. Yep. He should have just fought Jesse Vargas like he's supposed to and unify the IBF and WBO, but he didn't do that. I don't know why. Brook does have balls. Yeah, he does, man. Hurd has CTE. If Hurd takes a nasty KO from Jermell Charlo, no one knows what Hurd will look like after that. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough fight, man. Charlo and Hurd, man, that's gonna be a good fight. You know, Hurd said he want to fight a right-hander and kill Brook before you're ready for Charlo, man. I'm trying to stay up, but we'll see, man. We'll see. That's another one, man. That's another big fight, man. We're gonna talk about the biggest fights in boxing that could be made. You can go Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, Keith Thurman, Terrence Crawford. I mean, you can go Hurd and Jermell Charlo. You can go, you know, Canelo Triple G. You can go Charlo Triple G. You go Charlo Canelo. You go so many ways in boxing, man. You go David Benavidez, Gilberto Ramirez. You go Bivol Kovalev. You go Joshua Wilder. You can go Vivek and Ortiz. You can go Gary Russell, Leo Santa Cruz. It's a lot of great fights that can be made, man. A lot of these fights, you know, a lot of these fighters share the same promoter, man. You know, so a lot of these fights should be getting made. Yeah, so a lot of these fights should be getting ready, man. Adonis Stevenson needs to get jumped. I mean, you never. I hope Badou Jack beat him, but you know it didn't happen for Badou. So, but Badou was a hustler. You know, he'll be back. Hopefully, he can get the rematch. If not, Stevenson got to fight Alexander Gufik. So, you know, shout out to him. What's your guys' take on Anthony Yard? I just think he needs more time. For me, the issue with Anthony Yard is the fact that he needs to get out to the UK and get some American sparring. He needs some good sparring in America. I think that'll help him a lot. Getting that good American sparring, you know, getting that experience, you know, maybe getting some pointers from some American trainers would be good for him to make up for that lack of amateur experience, man. But he got all the skills. He got the power. He got the speed. He got that fake shoulder roll that he used that he needs to stop using. he basically just, learning through through them British gyms, but he need to get with those American sparring partners, man. That's gonna be very, very key in his development. It's his sparring. He was right not to fight Arthur Betterbeed, man. Like Callum Johnson, I ain't never heard of him, but let him go over and get his ass whooped. I know he is the guy that was calling out Anthony Yarde before. So, it is what it is for him, man. Yeah, he's not ready, man. Honestly, he's not ready, man. He's not ready. There's nothing wrong with not being ready, especially when you didn't have an amateur pedigree. It's not like Yarde holds the title hostage. He's not holding the title hostage, so he's not really doing nothing wrong to nobody. People want to complain and cry because he's not ready. He's smart. He knows that he knows that he need to continue to work and get better and hone his skills, man. And when he hones his skills, man, and he puts it all together, he'll be dangerous. But him training in the UK, it's not gonna be good for him, man. It's not gonna be excellent for him. And he needs to continue to work and get better in the gyms of America, man. I'm telling you, you need to get that American training, man. Should Tank return as a co-feature on the Garcia Porter card? Yeah, I was talking about that earlier with Tank. I think he should, man. Who he gonna fight though, man? That's an excellent question, man. I can put it up on my computer right now, man. Who can Tank actually fight? And obviously Miguel Burchett is fighting somebody else right now. He got to fight in June, so could he come back in August? I doubt it. So unification bout is out of the question, but he could fight the regular champion Albert Machado, but I don't think Albert Machado is ready. Edgar Cherry would be a good fight. Dennis Shavakov is down there. Looking at some names, I know Johnny Gonzalez has already been iced. Francisco Vargas, Miguel Roman, maybe some of those guys. Or maybe he can get Jezreel Corrales, who got stopped by Machado. Maybe he won another shot. He probably want to build himself back up. But they got Ryan Garcia at number 11 in the WBA. That's crazy. He's already ranked. But, Gamboa's there. If they want to do a sacrificial lamb, he'd be cheap probably too. Orlando Salido is still hanging around, he's still in beer from stores after hours. There's some fighters there, but who want to fight Tank though, man? Does Miguel Roman or Francisco Vargas, Johnny Gonzalez want to fight Tank? Jezreel Corrales, Robinson Castellanos. He got some names there, but opportunity. I think Tank should come back as the co-feature. Shavakov won. I don't know if he won his last fight since moving down. Shavakov won minded. Gamboa needs a payday. Jezreel Corrales, I'm not sure what he did after getting knocked out by Albert Machado. But there's some guys there. Definitely some guys there that they can bring Tank back on, man. I think, Garcia's and Porter's payday is very, very important. Not payday, but their card is very, very important, man. Very, very important, man. They got the Polish fighter Adam Nozwowski taking on Charles Martin. That's rumored to be going down on that card. That's going to be a big night in Brooklyn. That's going to be the end of a summer fight. Porter, Garcia. We'll talk about that for a minute. That's going to be a good fight, man. I think a lot of people are looking forward to that fight. We've been looking forward to that fight for over a year now. Ryan Garcia get killed by Tank, man. Tank and Farmer DC will be fireworks. Farmer's going over to Australia to fight Billy Gibbs for the vacant IBF title, so I have to work on that. Big Baby looked sluggish in this last fight. And fuck Big Baby. Tevin is slept on because he has no real power, and he's he has 4 L's. Yeah, he got knocked out by Jose Pedraza. So a lot of people. That was a long time ago. So he's a different fighter now. Tevin, I heard, learned on the job. Yeah, I heard that as well too. So that you can't hold that against him. So he's a good fighter. He just can't punch. Garcia and Porter don't want to fight anymore. They fight each other, so that'd be a good fight. I think for Porter to beat Garcia, it's going to have to be on the strength of his jab. His jab got to be good, man. If you come down the pipe on Garcia, even if he uses angles without a jab, he's going to get ate up, man. Period. He's a guy that's going to get ate up. So he got to use that jab. He got to double and triple the jab, and he got to do shit like that, man. Honestly. You know, you got to be able to do something different that Danny Garcia and won't be expecting him to do. He can't come and be the same Sean Porter and just think, you know, if he show up, he going to beat Danny Garcia. It's not going to happen. He got to work the body. He got to come down and double that jab up and come inside. Now, if you tell me Sean Porter brings at least a good beat jab, then I tell you that he probably beats Danny Garcia. But when you come in with an inconsistent jab like Danny Garcia, like Sean Porter, and you come in with your chin high, you come in all wild, that's a recipe to get knocked out by a counter puncher and the guy that got timing down pat in Danny Garcia. That's a recipe for disaster for him. I know, but that says a lot. He will fight him. Hold on. Big baby. Oh, I'm all the way down here. Danny talking that talk like he about to. Like he about it. He about it. I mean, Danny Garcia really ain't never dug nobody. You know, he's more of a 140-pounder, people opinion. But I think he grew into a nice, strong 147-pounder. Wide back. Showed that he got some power. But he got to beat the elite welterweight, man. He ain't beat no real elite welterweight yet, man. You know, he got to beat a guy. He got to beat this guy. You know, and I think, you know, Danny Garcia beat Sean Porter. He may punch his ticket on to the Hall of Fame right here, just off, you know, what he's done already, and then what he's done with Sean Porter. He definitely beat Earl Spence. Probably be on his way. Earl going to unify, I bet. Yeah, you know, the winner of that fight got to fight Earl Spence, you know, in the near future. And that'll be a hell of a fight. You know, I'm not saying I'm going to give them guys zero chance versus Earl Spence because it's the hurt business. You know, one punch could change it all. But I think Danny Garcia lasts longer versus Earl Spence, in my opinion. Sean Porter like to come in and try to be like a dog and heat and hump all on you and hit you and elbow you and butt you and headbutt you. Motherfuckers ain't got time for that. Earl Spence been and got him out there quick as hell. Danny can box. He can counter punch. He can buy some time a little bit, man, and eventually get Earl Spence's attention. But I think eventually Earl Spence hunts both of them down. I don't think Danny Garcia is scared of Spence, man. I just think it's a business. You know, he want to maximize his earning potential. And him and Earl would be a good fight. You know, would I be surprised if Danny beat Earl a little bit, man? But Danny seems to be a special kid. But I expect Earl to fold him up like a bad tent. You know, honestly, I expect Earl to really, you know, fold him up, beat him down. And the rest is history, man. You know, but you know, Danny can move on and hold his head high and say he never dug nobody, and then keep the spotlight turns to Keith Thurman. You know, the spotlight on Keith Thurman, man. Keith Thurman think this shit gonna go away. This shit don't go away, man. Motherfuckers ain't gonna forget that Keith Thurman, you know, gotta pay that bill. He gotta fight Earl Spence. And he should. You know, he around here vacationing with his new wife and not a care in the world, growing titties and getting fat and shit like that, and forgetting about the boxing game. You know, anybody that can pull away from the boxing game that quickly ain't never loved the boxing game to begin with, man, or fell out of love or lust with it. And, you know, for Keith Thurman, fans wanted to see him. You know, people remember him calling out Amir Khan, calling out Paulie Malignaggi, calling out Floyd, calling out this guy. You know, he remember him yelling and beating his chest like he was the king of the jungle. And when it came to Earl Spence, even when Earl Spence was 15-0, he was always speaking different. His demeanor was always different. And now that Earl Spence bubbled and emerged as a real foe, you know, this dude pulls out of boxing completely. No, ain't nobody got time for that. Seriously, don't nobody really got time for him, you know, bullshitting around and waiting around for the biggest fight. He should be fighting and competing, you know, but he chooses not to fight and compete. That's on Keith Thurman, man, you know, because once you step out of something like this so long, you may not never get it back, what you once had. You know, so I'm not gonna even keep giving this guy my energy. You know, let's just keep it real, man. You know, Tank and Russell, Gary Russell and Tank in the future. I did like several videos on that, man. These just think Tank might be too hard of a puncher for him. He might just be too thick, you know, too strong. But Gary Russell got a chance. He got good hand speed, a good puncher. I can't see Gary Russell really moving up that high, man. Too much higher than, you know, moving up to 130. I think he's a really natural featherweight, man. I don't think Keith is afraid of Earl. Seems like he's dealing with some personal issues outside of boxing. Gotta let the man handle his business. I definitely agree with that. Roman Spence is the goods, period. Hey, he the goods, you know. Floyd Mayweather versus Spence. Let's make that fight happen. Second off. Thurman is a disgrace. He had America supporting him. Russell would throw the stick out. Yeah, you know, he could throw the stick out. Tank a big motherfucker, though. Just take one from Tank. But back to the back to the Gary Russell Tank situation. That's a good fight down there, man. You know, Tank is a strong guy. Gary Russell's more finesse, a lot of hand speed, some power. He got average feet though, man. That's the problem. If Gary Russell had better feet, he'd be a huge problem in the sport of boxing, but he don't. And I think that's what Gary Russell would. I mean, that's what Tank could catch up with him, man. But that's a big fight. You know, that's a fight that I thought about long last year, you know, around this time. I said, damn, they would fight. And he said Floyd without boxing fans. Possibly so. He older now, dog. He older, man. He needs to just continue this to, live life and don't fuck with them young bucks, man. There's some young guys like Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, they coming to run a division. Even a guy like Keith Thurman, coming to run a division. But like somebody else said, Keith Thurman dealing with personal issues, so I don't really get into the personal shit, man. You know, hopefully he handles business and all is well. He able to come back to boxing and just box. Just do what he do. Just box. Stay consistent. Stay fighting. His last couple of years, he fought once a year. And this year, he on track not to fight once. So, you miss a guy that bring a lot of flamboyant power and charisma to the division, man. People thought that Thurman and Spence was gonna be at the division together, and that's the fight we was gonna see. And we haven't been able to see that fight, man. It's upsetting, man. It's big time upsetting, man. But we'll see, man. We definitely will see what the kid brings to the table. But other than that, man, ain't too much other going on in boxing. Let's see what else we got going on. Regis Progress, man, 140-pound tournament. We spoke on that. Hurd and Charlo, we spoke on that. Jaime McGuire, we spoke on that. Oh, the middleweight division. We ain't spoke on the light heavyweight division yet, man. I was just watching Andre Ward and Kovalev on the screen, man. Kovalev, I'm not sure he's 100% back, man. I like to see him fight Bivol, but it might not happen. I always wanted to see him fight Stevenson. I thought that it was a back and forth, but I just finally figured out that Stevenson just don't want to fight, nobody, really. He just want to bum bash and hold the belt hostage and get good purse money and just chill, man. So, Bivol and Kovalev are our best hope for that fight. Rigondeaux versus Gary Russell. I think Gary Russell at this point. Rigondeaux, ain't nobody heard from him, man. He went into hiding after that shit, man. For $500K, that wasn't even enough money to really sign your life away to get your ass beat. He's about to get paid in that tournament. He can win at this thing. Yeah, he can win it. He definitely can win that tournament, man. He's a good fighter. And we'll see, man. We'll see about Regis Progress, man. He said Rigondeaux been missing MIA since that tournament. Yep. He took a lot of backlash, man, when he quit, man. That shit was horrible. I ain't seen him quitting like that, but he did quit. So, that's on him, man. He made a decision. Now that's something they going to have to live with, dog. Really. Really, really, really. But they got Klitschko and Joshua on HBO, YouTube, be rolling, dog. At least two big ass motherfuckers, man. Other than that, man, I'm about to hop off, man. I stayed on as long as I could, man. I definitely appreciate everybody rocking out with us. I upload a video before I turn in for the night, man. But we're gonna get on tomorrow and do some good work tomorrow. Shout out to everybody, man. You know what it is, man. We gone.